Welcome to our channel, Book by Book. Tell me, have you ever had that moment? That sinking feeling right after you've agreed to something, maybe an upgrade, a donation you hadn't planned on, a big favor, and this little voice inside just goes, wait, why did I say yes to that?
Uh-huh. It feels rational in the moment, but then later you realize it wasn't quite what you intended.
Exactly. It's like your brain took a shortcut you didn't consciously approve.
Well, that whole phenomenon, how certain triggers can bypass our careful thinking, that's really the heart of a landmark book in social science. We're talking, of course, about Robert Cialdini's influence, the psychology of persuasion.
Right. And Cialdini, he's a professor emeritus now at Arizona State. He didn't just sit in an office. He actually spent years, undercover in sales teams, fundraising groups.
Yeah, he wanted to see firsthand what really makes people say yes, what actually works in the real world. The book first came out way back in 1984, but honestly, the ideas are probably even more relevant now. The latest edition from 2021 really cemented it as, well, the Bible of persuasion.
It really is.
And his core idea, Cialdini's thesis, is basically that our world is just too complex. We can't possibly analyze every single decision fully.
Right, we'd be exhausted.
Exactly. So our brains develop these mental shortcuts. He calls them weapons of influence, which is a great term. They save us time and energy, usually.
Yeah, but they also make us predictable and potentially easy to influence if someone knows how to trigger those shortcuts.
Precisely. It's like we're running on autopilot sometimes. The original book laid out 6 main principles, these universal shortcuts. And then later, Cialdini added a 7th one, unity.
So our goal today, here on Book by Book, is to walk you through all 7. We want to unpack these core lessons so you can, spot when they're being used on you, but also understand how to use influence ethically yourself. It's about understanding these forces shaping our choices every day.
Okay, so let's dive in. The first couple of principles are really rooted in fundamental human needs, things like obligation, keeping exchanges balanced, and staying true to ourselves.
First up is reciprocity. This one feels almost primal, doesn't it? It's that incredibly strong urge we have to return a favor or a gift or even a concession someone makes, even if we didn't ask for it in the first place.
It really is. We're deeply wired to avoid being seen as, a moocher or someone who just takes.
Cialdini saw this so clearly with the Hare Krishna devotees back in the day at airports. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. They'd hand travelers a flower completely unsolicited. People often didn't even want the flower.
Right. But the simple act of receiving it, that physical gift, it tipped the scales. Suddenly you felt indebted.
Exactly. And then when the request for a donation came, it didn't feel like just asking for money anymore. It felt like a way to sort of settle that debt, to rebalance the situation, like tipping a seesaw back to level.
It's fascinating because the value doesn't even have to match up, does it? A small flower can lead to a much larger donation.
Not at all. The key is the act of giving first. So for practical use, if you're in business or just interacting with people, think about offering genuine value up front. A free sample that's actually useful, helpful advice, maybe some good content, you're essentially planting these seeds of goodwill.
Before you ever ask for anything significant in return.
But it's crucial, as you said, that it feels genuine. Not just like, here's this cheap thing, now buy my expensive thing. It has to feel like a real gift, not just step 1 in a transaction. If you say, I'll do X if you do Y, that's just bargaining. Reciprocity is about the unsolicited gift creating the obligation.
Okay, that makes sense. So from that feeling of obligation, we move kind of naturally to our sense of self, which brings us to lesson 2, commitment and consistency.
Ah, yes. This one is about our deep-seated need to be, and perhaps more importantly, to be seen as consistent with our past actions and statements. Once we commit to something, especially if we do it publicly or in writing.
There's this huge internal pressure to follow through, right? To make our future actions align with that earlier commitment.
Huge pressure. It comes from inside us. We value consistency. We think consistent people are rational, trustworthy. So if we say we believe something, or we are a certain type of person, we feel compelled to act that way.
Cialdini's classic example is the driving sign study, isn't it?
That's the one. Homeowners who first agreed to put a tiny, almost invisible 3-inch drive safely sign in their window. They were later far, far more likely to agree to having this enormous, frankly ugly billboard put on their front lawn with the same message.
Wow. Just because of that initial tiny commitment.
It's the foot in the door technique. That first small yes created a shift in their self-perception. It set a mental anchor. I am the kind of person who supports safe driving initiatives.
So the big ugly billboard wasn't just about the sign itself anymore. It was about staying consistent with who they now believe themselves to be.
Precisely. Evaluating the request based on consistency, not just its objective merits. This is why getting people to state their intentions, maybe tick a box, write something down, or even just say yes out loud to a small thing is so powerful.
So the takeaway is start small, look for a low friction micro yes, something easy to agree to, and build from there.
Absolutely. But someone might ask, why do free trials sometimes have such low conversion rates if commitment is so strong?
Good question.
I think it comes down to the quality of that initial commitment. If signing up for a free trial takes zero effort, maybe just an email, it might not create a strong enough psychological anchor. A commitment that requires a little bit of effort, filling out a profile, watching an onboarding video that seems to make the consistency principle stick much better.
Right, you have to invest a little something for it to feel like a real commitment you need to honor. Okay, so we've covered obligation and identity. Let's shift now to how we're influenced by external cues, like what other people are doing and who the experts are.
Perfect transition. That brings us straight to social proof. This is basically our herd instinct. When we're uncertain about what to do, especially in a new or ambiguous situation, we look around to see what everyone else is doing.
And we assume, often subconsciously, that if lots of people are doing something, it must be the right thing to do. Safety in numbers.
Exactly. It explains things like why laugh tracks on sitcoms, even though many people say they dislike them, actually work. They signal, this is funny.
Or why a long line outside a restaurant makes you think, must be good, even if you know nothing else about it. Or why product reviews are so incredibly important online.
Cialdini's hotel towel study is a brilliant illustration here. They tested different signs asking guests to reuse towels. The most effective sign wasn't the one talking about environmental benefits generally.
It was the one that said something specific, right?
Yeah, something like, the majority of guests who have stayed in this room reuse their towels. That localized social proof people just like you who slept right here was way more persuasive.
It's like we're birds in a flock, especially online where things are so busy. So for anyone listening, the actionable step is pretty clear. Show, don't just tell.
Right. Highlight those numbers. Join 20,000 happy customers. Use testimonials, but make them specific and relatable, not just generic praise. Show the crowd moving in the direction you want people to go.
Okay, so if social proof is about following the crowd, the next one, authority, is about following the leader. Or at least who we perceive to be the leader.
Precisely. We are conditioned, really from childhood, to respect and defer to authority figures. And certain symbols, uniforms, titles like doctor, rate, or professor, even expensive suits or cars, can trigger an almost automatic compliance.
It's like a traffic light, you said. The expert gives the green light and we just go.
Well,
Without necessarily double checking if the road is clear.
that's a good way to put it. And this unfortunately brings us to the darker side, like the Milgram experiments. Those participants administered what they thought were painful, dangerous electric shocks.
Simply because a person in a lab coat, a symbol of scientific authority, told them to continue. It's chilling how powerful that deference was.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it highlights that it's often the symbols of authority, not necessarily genuine expertise, that trigger the response. So the takeaway is twofold. First, if you have genuine expertise, signal it ethically. Show your credentials, share relevant experience.
Partner with people who are genuinely respected in the field.
Right. But second, as consumers, we need that pause button again. When confronted by someone exuding authority, ask yourself, is this person truly an expert in this specific area? Or are they just wearing the metaphorical lab coat? Always try to verify the substance behind the symbols.
Okay, super important. Now let's get into the last three principles. These seem more tied to emotion, connection, and maybe the fear of missing out. We've got liking, scarcity, and that newer one, unity.
Exactly. Let's start with liking. It sounds almost too simple, but the research is clear. We were much more likely to say yes to people we know and like.
Makes sense. But what drives liking?
Cialdini breaks it down. Things like physical attractiveness play a role, unfortunately. Similarity is huge. We like people who are like us in terms of background, opinions, even dress style, compliments work, even if we suspect flattery. And familiarity, just repeated, positive contact breeds liking.
You mentioned Cialdini observing salespeople. They're masters at this, right? Finding that common ground instantly.
Oh, absolutely. They'll quickly scan an office for clues, a sports team pennant, a photo from a vacation spot, university diploma, anything to create a connection. Oh, you're a fan of X. Me too. It's like establishing that warm handshake before you even start talking business. It lowers our guard because we feel a connection.
So the action here is about building genuine rapport. Be truly interested in the other person. Offer sincere compliments. Online, maybe use friendly images, tell relatable stories, make the interaction feel human.
Yes, genuine is the key word again. People can usually sniff out fake rapport building pretty quickly.
Okay, next up, scarcity. This one feels very relevant today with all the FOMO fear of missing out.
Definitely. The core idea is that opportunities, products, information, they all seem more valuable to us when their availability is limited. Limited time offers, limited quantities, exclusive access.
Why is that so powerful?
It taps into a psychological principle called loss aversion. Basically, the pain of losing something is a much stronger motivator for humans than the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. When something is scarce, we focus on what we might lose if we don't act now.
Cialdini used that example of the British government announcing a future ban on a certain type of fuel, didn't he?
Yes, and suddenly there was this massive surge in people buying it. Not because the fuel itself got better, but because the access was about to be lost. The scarcity transformed it into something highly desirable, like finding water in an oasis.
We see this everywhere online. Countdown timers, only 2 left in stock. Limited edition drops.
Exactly. But here's the crucial ethical point Cialdini stresses. The scarcity must be real. Using fake countdown timers that just reset, or claiming limited stock when there's plenty that destroys trust very fast. If you have genuine scarcity, by all means, highlight it, but don't manufacture it.
Got it. Real urgency works. Fake urgency backfires. Okay, finally, the 7th principle, the one added more recently. Unity.
Yes, unity. Cialdini felt this needed its own category because it's deeper than just liking. Unity is about shared identity. It's the power of feeling like you belong to the same tribe as the persuader.
So it's not just I like this person, it's this person is one of us.
Exactly. Think about the difference in influence between a neighbor asking for help versus a close family member asking for the same help. The sense of shared identity, of being in the same unit, makes the request almost obligatory.
What creates that feeling of unity?
It can be based on kinship, obviously family ties, but also things like shared location, hometown pride, shared religion or political affiliation, or even shared experiences or struggles. It's about identifying with a group where the boundaries feel intrinsic and meaningful. We are in this together.
So in practice, this could look like building strong online communities, maybe members-only groups.
Yes, or using very inclusive language. Shifting from talking at your audience, you should do this, to talking with them as part of this community, here's what we're doing, emphasizing that shared mission or identity. We're on the same team. It dissolves the US versus them barrier.
Wow. Okay, so those are the 7 principles. When you lay them all out, you realize how much they rely on triggering these automatic responses. Cialdini's click were idea.
That's it exactly. A specific trigger, the click, activates a pre-programmed behavioral tape, the whir. It happens fast, below conscious thought, because, again, it saves mental energy.
But that automation makes it a real double-edged sword, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Used ethically, when the signals are honest, like pointing out genuine expertise or real scarcity, these principles can lead to better, more efficient decisions for everyone. Win-win situations.
But the potential for manipulation is huge. Using fake authority, creating false scarcity, exploiting liking without genuine connection.
Right. And Cialdini is very clear that this kind of dishonest use ultimately backfires. It breeds resentment and destroys trust. Yeah. The ethical application is absolutely crucial.
So understanding these gives us, well, a toolkit, both for ethical influence and for self-defense. Maybe we can quickly recap those actionable steps.
Good idea. So based on what we've discussed, 1, lead with real unexpected value. That's reciprocity. 2, get a small, meaningful yes-first commitment and consistency. 3, show that others like them or doing it social proof. 4, signal your genuine expertise, clearly authority. 5, build real connection and find common ground liking. 6, highlight scarcity only when it's true scarcity. 7, foster that sense of shared identity, of we unity.
And for the listener, that key self-defense tip. When you feel that sudden urge to comply, that yes, just popping out, pause. Just take a breath.
Yes. Ask yourself, okay, wait, which of these principles might be at play right now? Just naming it can break the spell. It brings the decision back to your conscious, rational mind.
Influence really is more than just a marketing book. It's a window into how we operate as humans. Understanding these principles helps you navigate everything from ads to political messages to just everyday conversations.
It gives you a lifelong lens, really, whether you're negotiating a raise or just trying to resist that impulse buy at the checkout.
Okay, let's wrap this up with maybe the top 5 takeaways, kind of social media style, easy to remember.
Sounds good. Number 1, give before you ask. Reciprocity is powerful. Create that sense of obligation first.
Number 2, start small to go big. Little commitments pave the way for larger agreements through consistency.
Number 3, show the proof. When people are unsure, they look to the crowd. Make the crowd visible.
Number 4, be likable and credible. Warmth builds rapport, but genuine authority seals the deal. You need both.
And number 5, honest urgency works. Highlighting real scarcity or potential loss motivates action more than potential gain.
So here's a little challenge for you listening. Just for the next day or so, try to actively spot these principles in action. Notice them in ads, in emails, maybe even in how your friends or family try to persuade you.
You'll likely be amazed at how often you see that click word happening now that you know what to look for.
Thank you so much for joining us for this book-by-book discussion on Cialdini's influence.
We hope you found it insightful. We'll see you next time as we unpack another